that is neuro-linguistic programming, NLP in English language teaching. We see that is our brain is consisted of so much cell. Okay, so whenever we talk, we rather connect through the cell of our brain. Rather, we can also say we can connect to the neuron of our brain. So that is the neuro-linguistic programming in second language learning. Okay, so neuro-linguistic programming is based on a model of communication and psychotherapy. In ELT, this model has implication for learning, as it says that we all have different learning and perceptual preference. In order to learn well, we need to both exploit our preferred style and develop our less preferred ones. Okay, so uh, every person and every individual is different from one another. Okay, how you will receive a thing, how will perceive a thing, how you will learn a thing, that could be dependent on the very yourself. You will decide. So your preference, your learning preference, your requirements, everything that will come from the neuron or the cell of human brain. So neuro-linguistic programming will be discussing that issues. Neuro-linguistic programming is a fascinating field that explores the relationship between how brains process language. Okay. Uh, it is said that in case of uh, whenever a learner will be positive, then they are open to accept a thing. Okay. So if a learner is positive that I will be learning the language, whatever the language is difficult or not. Okay. If it is their brain, then their brain will give the positive signal and the brain will process the language very quickly. So neuro-linguistic programming will be discussing that issues, that how our brains, that means human brains, process language and how we communicate effectively. It was developed in 1970s by John Grinder and Richard Bandler, who were interested in understanding how successful people achieved their success, particularly in the areas of therapy and communications. Therapy and communication. They observed that successful therapists shared similar patterns in their communication with clients and their similar beliefs about themselves and their work. So whenever your brain will be active, so these are the person, John. So whenever your brain will be active, whenever your brain will be positive, you will be very much positive and your language learning or any kind of learning will be effective according to these two persons, Grinder and Bandler. Okay. And they have discussed this issue, that is neuro-linguistic programming. Okay. Grinder and Bandler developed NLP as a system of techniques that therapists could use to build a rapport with the client, gather information about their internal and external perspectives. And naturally, many of you have the idea of visiting a homeopath or homeopathic doctor. If you visit a homeopathic doctor, the homeopathic doctor will try to ask you so many questions. The homeopathic doctor will try to understand the history of your disease. Okay. Same thing will be happening of the therapist, especially the psychotherapist. If anybody visits the psychotherapist will ask so many questions. What do they do such kind of activities? Many of the persons may be disturbed. That's why so this person is asking so many personal questions to me. Actually, they want to understand the full map of your mind that is happening in your psyche or your mentality. And for this reason, the Grinder and Bandler, they thought that in case of this technique, if this technique will be applied in case of language learning that the therapist follow between therapist and the client. Okay, so the rapport build up between the learner and the teachers. Okay, that would be the perspectives. If a rapport is built up between learner and teachers, then their brain will process the language very effectively and quickly. And so they can grab the language materials, rather it may be grammatical, rather it may be vocabulary, rather it may be pronunciation. That thing will be grabbed by the learner's brain very quickly. That is the concept of Grindler and Bandler in neuro-linguistics programming. Okay, so this is a neuro-linguistics programming. There is a different of neuro-linguistic programming and psychotherapy. Okay, so visualization is the practice of creating vivid mental images, has long been recognized as a powerful tool for success. When combined with the principles and techniques in NLP, it becomes an even more formidable force for personal transformation. Okay, so this is the neuro-linguistic programming, okay, anchoring method, and some other method will be followed in this neuro-linguistics programming. So neuro-linguistic programming is a system of techniques that focuses on the relationship between language processing and communication, developed by John Grinder and Richard Bandler. In English language teaching, NLP can be used to create more effective learning environments by understanding students' motivation, adapting teaching methods to individual learning styles, and promoting interactive learning through techniques like visualization, anchoring, and reframing. So in NLP follows these three techniques: visualization, anchoring, and reframing. By following these three techniques, NLP can be an effective method or approach in second language teaching in post-method era. Okay,